What's going on, everybody? Coming back at you with another video, and can't wait. This thing's almost done and I'm like 100% excited. I got a wired a VTEC wire into the computer. I gotta extend like a coolant sensor wire. Gotta do that. I got top transmission off with some synchro mesh. Put the wheels on it, get the alignment set, and once all that's done, I'm gonna start putting the headlights back in, get that in, fenders and front bumper, and this thing is hopefully ready to rip down the road. Yeah, I think I got everything. Oh, I need to stop and get a little filter for that guy so I can put that on there. I don't want that routing around back to, the intake. But yeah, gotta do that. So I'm gonna get rocking. I did get it running. I'm gonna throw a clip in the video of what it sounded like with the open header. And I did get the exhaust on. I had to make my own test pipe. So I'm gonna flip this thing around and show you guys what I used to make it. Alright, so since this header was so long, like extended back towards the car, say if I would have used this old header over here, which I mean the bottom's beat up and it's got a couple cracks in it, I didn't want that, and I probably would have used that, but I didn't feel like welding it. I want it, nice, shiny. But this test pipe was on that header. I scored from a buddy, my dude Bryce. Trade him a EG hatch engine bay harness for that header and this test pipe, and I didn't even use it. But I'm sure I could go in something else. I might swap the Civic and get rid of the Dinky D. Yeah, I know I just built it. I'm gonna get at least till next year out of the engine, but might swap that car. But the flange on the end of the test pipe, the one that's triangular shaped, I cut that off, welded it on a 2.5 inch piece of exhaust pipe, and welded that on, got it bolted up. Oh man, let me see. I don't even know if I could get under here. Alright. Let me get some light on. Alright. Got some light on. There's a triangular flange. I welded that on first, made sure she was straight. Got it bolted up, mocked up. And then got it over to the header. Grinded like a 45-degree edge around the that steel pipe there. And then dropped the header down. Unbolted that, of course, pulled it out from underneath the car, and yeah, got that welded up, and bolted the header back on, and bolted those 3 bolts on the triangular, and yeah, she sounds good. That's the exhaust I went with. If you guys followed my other videos on the Prelude, I ran the same exhaust on that. So I like the sound. I got complimented on it and everything. And yeah, love the sound. And it sounds really good on this. I mean, really good. I like it. But yeah, hopefully here soon, next couple days or something, man, we'll get some videos of this thing running and fully back together and out on the road. Alright guys, so I'm wiring in VTEC, and I'm just going to show you when you wire this in, when you're looking at the computer, your pins
You know, starting from the left facing, it goes the top one, bottom two, you know, your next top one 3, your next bottom one 4, and so on. Well, your VTEC pin is pin A4, so that's the second one over on the bottom. And what I did, since it's not, you know, ran in the car, which I think it might have been at one point, because there's an orange wire here that's just not plugged into anything, and in the factory harness there's a wire missing. So if I want it, I could have ohm resistance that wire, find out where it's at outside in the engine bay and all that, but I just went ahead and ran another wire like I did on the Prelude. So I'm gonna get this connected together and heat shrink tube it and plug it back in, and VTEC should work. I had the pressure switch disabled, so don't have to worry about hooking the pressure switch in. Crank together, heat shrink tube on it, keep it all nice and safe and dry. And, you know, ran my wire, did the same thing on that, connected together with heat shrink tube, same thing on this sensor going into the head. I had to extend that because this sits out farther than on the B18, and also that neck for the radiator sits back further. Normally that's where that would sit on the B18 B1. Alright guys, so this is, you know, a couple 2-3 days later after I wired VTEC in. I did take it for a road test. I sit too low. The header's dragging, not all the time, but on the slightest little bump it drags. So I gotta raise the front up a couple inches, and I might try to rehang the exhaust to get her up higher, because I don't want to ruin it. But what I'm doing here, I'm installing a wideband, because this thing, it was actually like, it ran good, but something wasn't right. It kept I don't know if the O2 sensors aren't hooked up, or they go bad in this, like completely out. You know, you'll have throttle, then it cut out. You have throttle and cut out, because it, you know, the O2 sensor ain't telling it. It's not correlating with the computer, you know, so it don't know what's going on. So what I'm doing today, since I need a wideband anyways, no use of spending, you know, almost what, 50, 100 bucks on an O2 sensor when I could just get a wideband. So the wideband I put in the Civic, I got one just like it. It's the Yugo AEM wideband, and I am hooking it up. Alright, so what you're going to want to do, you know, obviously put your wideband in your header, test pipe, wherever. The best is the test pipe, where all 4 tubes are coming in to one collector, but mine doesn't have that option. So eventually, before I, you know, turbo it and whatnot, I'm gonna have to weld a bung in my test pipe that I had made. But for now, it'll work. It'll get a reading. So what you're going to want to do, red wire to a fusible link. It says use a 10 amp fuse, so that's what I got. I'm going to run that to my 12 volt wire right there. Then you have your black wire, obviously that's your ground. You're going to run that either to a ground on the chassis, if you can find one, or you can just tie into this, which I'll probably do. And then you're going to look for pin D14, which I got to find that. And you'll find pin D14, the white wire, that's your signal. And you hook that in there, and that way the computer is going to read what's hitting that wideband sensor. Alright. So all you do is cut it, tie your fusible link into it, crimp it back together nice, and on your opposite end of your fused link, that's where you hook your wideband up.
I'm gonna do the ground next.
Alright, now for your pin D14, if you're looking at the ECU from this way, it's the plug all the way on the right. So that would be what, the second biggest plug. It's gonna be your D14 or your D plug, and D14 is gonna be the 5th one over from the right. So let me see if I can't get this to sit here so I can show you guys. Probably ain't gonna happen. Covering up the light. Oh shit. Let's see. Stay there. So you got 1, 2, 3 doesn't have anything in it. Neither does 4. And it's that one right there. So the 5th one over from the left. And how you know that's it? You go from the left to right on the bottom. It goes 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So there it is. That's your pin D14. I'm gonna get my white wire hooked up. Alright, everything's hooked up. Turn the ignition on. Gotta let it cycle. Let it do its thing. I'm gonna start it. Oh man, it's already idling way better. Heck yeah. I guess the moment of truth to be when I, rev it up and see if it recovers. If that fixed it, I'll be happy.